Good
Karen.
morning. How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm fine, Barbara. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
We're here today,
To read a book and do an art project all about that book.
and just for you. So we're ready to go.
I'm Barbara.
I'm Karen.
Welcome.
Good morning. Today's book is The Artist Who Painted a Blue Horse by Eric Carle. Here's the end paper. It's a painting by Eric Carle. The Artist Who Painted a Blue Horse by Eric Carle, published by Philomel Books. I am an artist. Can you say that? I am an artist. And I paint a blue horse and a red crocodile and a yellow cow and a pink rabbit and a green lion and an orange elephant and a purple fox. I like purple. And a black polar bear and a polka dotted donkey. I am a good artist. What's your favorite animal? And what's your favorite color? Here is a blue horse. It's a painting by Franz Marc. Blue Horse, painted in 1911. The end.
Today, the book is The Artist Who Painted a Blue Horse. A blue horse. I think my favorite picture in the book that Karen read was the yellow cow. A yellow cow. How marvelous. I think I like this particular page best because it wasn't white behind the cow. Instead, we see a background, a landscape. The cow outside, probably in the evening, with some stars, standing in the field. Today's project, we're going to be thinking about color, but we're going to be thinking about it in a different way than we usually experience it in our lives. I mean, if you came upon a blue horse, you might be a bit surprised. Today, we're going to imagine a wild landscape. So essentially, we're going to paint everything except the horse, everything except the cow. And we're going to have to use something that I like to call eye memory. Eye memory. Sometimes I have to close my eyes to make eye memory work better. I'm going to imagine being outside, looking at the mountains, the trees, my backyard, anywhere that's outside my house where I live, outside my apartment. And I'm going to imagine the things that are close to me, that I could almost reach out and touch. Maybe a tree, maybe some flowers, maybe the ground I'm standing on. And I'm going to imagine further back, what do I see in that middle area? Where I can't quite touch it, but I could probably run to it. More trees, a field, a barn, a building, a bridge. What can you imagine? Then I'm going to use my eye memory to imagine way back at the top. What do I see up there that's the farthest away? Oh, maybe the sky for sure, but maybe some mountains or some buildings way across the river. Whatever I can imagine in my mind, because I'm working inside, I'm not actually outside looking at it. I'd have to take a moment and think about what my landscape is going to look like. My landscape. Maybe it's at my favorite park, which is just down the block from where I live. Or maybe it's entirely imaginary. I'm going to create a landscape I've never seen before, but might like to. So here's how we're going to do it. You'll need a nice big piece of white paper. And of course, your underpaper or the plastic or newspaper on top of the table. And your watercolor paint tray and a pencil. Now, you would use your pencil, and I think it might be easier for you to see what I'm drawing if I use a marker. You can use a marker. This is a very, very fat marker, so you can see it more clearly. But I would use a thinner marker if I were you, if you decide to do that. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom, which for me is actually the top for you, the way you see it, but I'll turn it around and show you. Eye memory. What is close to me? I know, a tree. At least that's what I'm seeing in my mind right now. Now, I'm not going to draw a tree with all the details. I'm just going to draw a tree like an outline shape. So maybe like this. Up it goes, and then maybe it's a big tree like that. There we go. That was easy. I think I'd like to have the tree have a friend. So maybe I'll make a smaller tree next to it. Might be a little bit different shape. That looks good. Do you see that? I'm making nice clean lines because the shape itself doesn't matter. I'm going to be painting the whole piece of paper. So if you use a marker, it will show. If you use a pencil, it probably won't show. So whether you want that line or no line depends on what you use to draw. Okay, what's next? Well, maybe I'll put some things down on the bottom, but I'm not going to draw anything today in detail. Not all the little things like this. Instead, I'm going to start on one side of the paper and I'm going to draw the ground. Now, oops, now there's a tree. I probably want to stop my line because it's going to go behind the tree and then start it on the, oops, there's the tree again. And I'm going to stop and lift my marker and go like that. So now I have a line for the ground. Maybe I'll put a couple of big stones. I have a lot of stones in my yard, in my garden. So I might put a big stone here and maybe one over here, maybe two. That's good. All the shapes we're drawing today are kind of big. This is about a wild landscape from our eye memory. What's next maybe? Maybe a row of fields with some trees. Oh, there's the tree again. I'm going to go around behind it. And then another part over here, I'm just kind of drawing lines across the paper from one side to the other. Again, you can't do this wrong because whatever you do is what you're doing today. Art is always wonderful and everybody's art is different because everybody has their own eye memory, and their own heart as they approach a project. Okay, I'll bet up here I'm going to make the sky, but maybe I'll do something a little more interesting back here. Sometimes it takes me a long time to think about what I want to include, and sometimes it helps when I look around to get ideas. Maybe there's a painting on my wall, or maybe I see a book or an object that I can use. This is way in the back, though. This is way back there. So I'm holding it up, not for you to copy my idea. You have to make your own idea in art. But I think I need your help with thinking about what I would put in this spot right here. And sometimes it's fine to ask somebody. They might have a really good idea. But I'll bet you can come up with your own solution just as easily. I think I might draw some very tall shapes. I'm going to put it down so I can draw it more easily than holding it up. I'm going to draw some interesting shapes that I don't really even know what they are. But they're kind of like a waterfall, maybe. Or I just felt like the space needed something more than I had there. Maybe they're big rock crags that have eroded from the rains over the years. I don't know. So my landscape is just about finished, I think. Maybe a little line at the very top, like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So again, I'm doing it with marker, and you can do that, or you can do it with pencil. All right, now we have the painting part. So I'll cap my pen over here, and using our watercolor paints, and thinking about the blue horse and the yellow cow, we're going to think about all the colors being different than they are in what we usually see in the world. Trees, green, or maybe they have colors in the springtime when the flowers are on them. But today, I'm not going to paint green or brown. I'm going to paint the trees colors that they probably wouldn't be, or usually wouldn't be, where I live. I think I'll start maybe with one of the trees. What color? Well, I think maybe my idea is coming from blue. I'm going to paint a blue tree. This one. And I want to paint the color on to fill the whole space. Nice and bright colors. This idea that painters had some years ago about making the real world in form, in shape, but not in color. We're known to think about creating an idea to make us think a little bit more about how we see the world. Why couldn't a tree be blue in a certain light? Okay, there's my blue tree. How about the second tree? Orange? Sure. Whatever colors you choose, it doesn't matter at all. The idea is just to paint, and each shape's its own color. I try to stay within the lines as best I can, but again, these are nice watercolors, bright colors. Sometimes the brush brush strokes show a little bit. I like that in this case. It's a bit of something we might call a visual texture. So as I paint my tree orange, I might want to be thinking about when I'm going to paint the other spaces. Like down here, rocks, right? Stones. I like stones. Sometimes I think when I go to the river, the stones along the shore, they're also very different. Have you discovered that too? Okay, so I'm just going to show you my orange tree and my blue tree. Now, what should I do for the stones? Green. Well, actually, in the woods, I sometimes see green moss on the stones. But normally, I think of stones as being kind of gray. Today, my stones are going to be green. What color would you have painted them? Now the ground. I've never seen purple ground. It'd be pretty cool if I did see it though. So let's see, nope, that's blue, so I'm going to mix over here. Yep, there's purple. Ooh, well, sort of purple. Got a little mixed up there. I'm going to paint the ground purple. I'm creating a world that the shapes look sort of like they usually do, maybe a little bit, but the colors are just wild. A wild landscape. Something that you see in your imagination. I'm using a fairly narrow brush. If you had the option to have a little fatter brush for the bigger areas, that helps you go a little faster. But I actually don't mind having a smaller brush because I like doing art so much. I want it to last a long time. And if I have a fat brush, it goes too quickly. So with my smaller watercolor brush, I get to take the time and enjoy doing it. A little bit tricky here where it's very close together. To slow down a little bit there. How's your painting going? Good? It's a lot of purple here. Almost done with the purple though. I probably wouldn't use much black for this project, but you could. Again, this art is for you to do. There. I think I've got that now. I'll hold it up and show you. I'm not done. Purple ground, green stones, and orange and blue trees. Wow. Sometimes when I'm doing my art, I need to take a break though. And I think I might just do that now and come back when I feel a little bit more energy to continue my project. So I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. Just finishing up some purple back here. How's your project going? Man, it takes a while, doesn't it, to do a good job and enjoy it while you're doing it. I've painted almost all my spaces. I'll turn it around so you can see better. I have one more big space at the top to do. Maybe that's the sky? Maybe, yeah? I'm trying to think about what color to paint the sky today. Well, I think maybe green. I've never seen a green sky, though that would be pretty cool. I hope you've enjoyed this project today. Art is always so special, and it's fun to do it with friends and family. It's also often really special just to do it by yourself, to have an idea, to think, I think I'd like to paint right now, or I'd like to draw right now. While I was doing this project, I thought about my son David. He lives in a big city, and if he did his eye memory, he would probably think not of a landscape, but a cityscape. You might want to try a cityscape, or a townscape, or a seascape, anything. I decided I was going to draw a very, very simple city. They're just buildings in the same way that the mountain, the grass, and the trees of our project here today on the land, thinking about the horse and the cow. So I didn't put in windows and balconies and stop signs and cars. I just put in the basic shape of the building. And I know where my son lives, most of the buildings are brown or gray or off-white or beige. Nothing very exciting, and the streets are, well, that street gray color. I've been thinking what I would do if I painted this next. I don't think my buildings would be those plain dull colors. So, one project usually gets me thinking about another one. I hope you enjoyed the project today, and we'll see you again soon.